Now we're going to take a look at how to properly align your bell housing. Bell housing alignment is critical when it comes to the installation of a Tremec transmission. Basically what bell housing alignment is making sure that your bell housing is properly aligned, the register bore of the bell housing is properly aligned with your crank. And it has to be in alignment to within 5 thousandths. So it's a critical step. The Tremec is a very precise transmission that requires a precise bell housing fit and precise alignment. So let's take a look at some of the steps on how to align your bell housing. And in your kit, you're going to find in the instructions, detailed instructions on how to do this. To align the bell housing, you're going to need some specialty tools. What I have in my hands here is a magnetic dial indicator base, and this base is going to attach to your flywheel. In order to attach it to your flywheel, you may need to remove some of the flywheel bolts so that you get a flush mount. And keep in mind, when you install this to the flywheel, it doesn't need to be dead center on the flywheel. Just try to get as close as you can. And then with the magnetic base with its various arms and offsets, you're installing the dial indicator gauge itself. And you'll be setting this up on your block. It's going to take some time to do it. It's going to take some patience, but you're going to end up getting this set up. And then we'll show you after this how to check the alignment using our jig here in just a moment. Now to check the alignment of your bell housing, obviously here we're using an alignment jig that we use to check all of our bell housings before we ship them out. For display purposes, it's easier to show you how to check alignment of a bell housing as opposed to doing it on the motor. So first thing you want to do is set up your dial indicator as you're going to be setting it up on your block in this case. And then you're going to want to make one complete pass, one complete sweep with your alignment tool. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to have your helper rotate the crank with a breaker bar. So as you spin it around, you're going to want to look for the lowest point. So this place looks like the low point where the dial indicator hits 0 in this case is right about here. So we're going to, in this case, mark the bell housing. That's 0. Really you want to be marking this on a piece of paper, because if you end up with a bunch of marks around the bell housing, you have a bunch of numbers everywhere, it's going to get a bit confusing. So once you've found your low point, then you're going to want to make another pass. So have your helper turn the crank and watch the dial. And you could stop, in this case, right about here at 12 o'clock. Read the dial indicator, minus 0.005. And you're going to want to turn it again, keep going, and they can make another mark right about here in this example, minus 0.008. Continue your sweep. Here we're at about minus 0.005 again. And then continue back to where you hit 0. Really what you want to be checking for as you're making your sweep, you just want to see where the farthest point is away from 0. And in this example, our farthest point away from center is the 8. So as you do it this way, if you set yourself up at the low point initially, you look for your biggest measurement, in this case 0.008, you divide it by 2, and that gives you 0.004. The allowable tolerance when installing a Tremec transmission is 0.005. So this bell housing is within specification and ready to be installed. If your number ends up at 0.006 or higher, you're going to need to use some adjustable dowel pins, which we'll talk about in a moment, to properly position your bell housing so that it's aligned with the crank and ready for a Tremec installation. If you find that your bell housing is out of alignment, what you want to do is get a set of adjustable dowel pins. These dowel pins that I have in my hands are from a company called Rob MC Performance. You can find them on the internet at robbmcperformance.com. And these are GM offset dowel pins. As you look at these pins, this end of the pin, which is perfectly round, inserts into your block in replacement of your existing dowel pins, and then the other end of this dowel pins with the set screw is basically oblong, and it's oblong enough to where if you use these in conjunction with each other, you can turn them, and because of the fact that they're oblong, it actually moves the location of the bell housing slightly to get it within proper alignment. Once you get these dowel pins set to the correct location, you simply tighten down the set screws, and now your bell housing is properly aligned. The company that sells these, again, is robbmcperformance.com.